Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to finish up today and this week with a creator request, which is where a band gets in contact with me and specifically asks me to look at their music. Today, we're going to be looking at a band called Waves in Autumn. They emailed me and said, "Hey, how are you doing? My band Waves in Autumn have just released a new music video, Tiger Jaw, and since this one has been our most appreciated release so far, I'd love to see your reaction to it." So we're going to be checking out today, called Tiger Jaw from Waves in Autumn. Let's dig into this and see what's going on. Love the throwback. Okay, we've combined the harsh vocals with a layer of clean over it. We have a really strong guitar melody going underneath all that as well. Oh, that bass tone. Yeah, it's got kind of like a funk vibe right here, and I'm digging it. Really allowing these moments to breathe. Lots of space here. Yeah, very cool. Fastest tape recorder I've ever seen. Yeah, so lots of really cool stuff going on in here. The first thing I want to point out, though, is the drumming. Well, actually, kind of just it's the drumming and the guitars in the chorus. So, just earlier today, we looked at Red Handed Denial's Cloud 9, and I spoke about how that used the more traditional modern metalcore structure of having a very aggressive, angular verse, bringing in more melodic elements into the chorus and having this back and forth here, this contrast, which a lot of metalcore bands do. I think it's really interesting here that we get a very similar verse. It's very rhythmic oriented. There's the staccato syncopated rhythmic devices going on in all the instruments, and we have harsh vocals on top of that. However, going into the chorus, instead of shifting to something that fits a bit more into the drums playing the time signature and the guitar switching to chords. Instead, we hear something a bit more punky. We retain the syncopated rhythmic aspect, but we move towards something that focuses more on like what would be grace notes on another instrument. I don't know if they're still called grace notes on drums, but it's like a 16th note into the downbeat. So if we have dut 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 dut, we have a note that comes right before the beat itself, and we hear a lot of that here that drives the energy forward because it's often paired with a double hit on a downbeat. So we'll have da 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 da, and it has this syncopated pushing forward rhythmic aspect to it. It's very popular in punk stuff. These probably aren't grace notes in true technical aspects of it. It might be 16th notes, and there's also some playing around with 16th and 8th notes in the bass kick stuff to create different spatial elements to the distances between these attacks. But what I'm saying though is that it retains the rhythmic element of it, but gets rid of the more chaotic part that the verse has, that kind of has that syncopated staccato genty kind of style thing going on, and brings it into something very heavily inspired by groove, right? Something that punk does really well and creates this infectious energy in this section. On top of that, we have this moving guitar line that sits sandwiched between the vocals and some chordal stuff, and it gives this energy a lot of momentum. And it's very interesting to hear, instead of melody and rhythmic textural stuff being put back to back, we still have that same idea, but we're moving between rhythmic and punk. I think it brings an interesting energy to this track where it could have really fallen into more of a stereotypical metalcore song, and instead, at least to me, has a bit of its own identity to it, especially once that chorus kicks in. I really like how it situates itself, because not only do we retain the idea of having a bit more melody to contrast the rhythmic textural stuff we hear in the verse, but it's done so in a manner that allows itself to retain the rhythmic structures throughout the entire song. In that Red Handed Denial track we just listened to, the drummer goes from the rhythmic stuff in the verse to pretty much just laying down 4/4 stuff in the chorus. It becomes more of a metronome, whereas here the drummer is still providing energy and working within syncopated rhythmic elements. And it's just really neat to have basically still have one foot in the side of the rhythmic focus. So it never really fully leaves. It is not like a night versus day thing. It's like a day versus dusk thing. A day versus dawn thing. That might be it. So they're still very similarly related. That metaphor is terrible, right? They're still similarly related. There's elements that in the chorus are still present in the verse. It's more like an adaptation of the sound rather than being the inverse of the sound. And I think that's very cool that they can retain that core aspect there while still bringing in the more stereotypical idea of rhythmic versus melodic. And even like when we look at the vocals here, we introduce a second vocalist rather than replace the original. So it's just another way that we can see this idea continuing on as the chorus becoming an extension of the verse. We retain the harsh vocals that we had in the verse, but we are pairing them with clean vocals rather than completely switching over to them. And it feels more like we've evolved to this next area rather than flip the coin over. And I find that to be absolutely fascinating. And just, sonically, I'm expecting something else and I'm getting this. I don't think I've heard too many songs that paired gent and punk as the alternating elements rather than gent and pop rock, which is kind of what metalcore tends to do. it's just a really neat way to go about doing that. And then even just like the melodies themselves, the chorus is catchy with the vocal stuff, right? We have that really powerful driving guitar line under it that just makes me want to, dance, do that kicking thing. What we used to call it, man? Was that skanking? Is that what it used to be called? Where you like dance in a circle and can just kind of kick your foot out? I don't remember. I think we used to call that skanking. I don't. Anyways, that's what it makes me want to do. Like, it's this huge throwback to some stuff that I was into in high school. And, just to pair that with very modern rhythmic metalcore stuff, and keeping that rhythmic pulse underneath with this powerful driving guitar work and then the vocals, right? I really enjoy having the vocals the way they are in the chorus, where we have the cleans adding to the harshes. We get this nice textural layering going on, and it creates this energy because it almost feels like a gang vocal. I don't know if there's more than two vocalists actually singing here, but because of the way that the harshes might be mixed, paired with the cleans, it feels more like a bunch of people coming together to sing the cleans on top of the growl rather than just a clean singer coming in to sing with it. And it makes it feel very group like. The whole chorus just makes me think I'm at a party. I don't know if anybody else gets those vibes. I think it's phenomenal. Um, so yeah, I really enjoy what they're doing here as far as pairing these two different styles and kind of shaking up the metalcore formula a little bit. I think that's phenomenal. Um, and that's kind of all I have to say about the musical aspect, which is quite concise for me. Usually I'm a bit more verbose, but the bridge was pretty short. Overall, we had a song that was less than 2 minutes long, and we fit in three choruses into that and two verses. The bridge really didn't have much of a chance to stand out, and actually be something distinct and noteworthy amongst the repetition of the hook. And man, what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh, and the other thing that sort of disappointed me, same thing that disappoints me with a lot of this stuff, is just the final chorus, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with just copy pasting what you've already done. It's a tried and true method, right? Everybody wouldn't do it if it didn't work. But I mean, especially for something like this, I feel like just having a little bit of extra oomph in that final chorus would have worked phenomenally. I don't quite know what that oomph would have been. Even something as simple as harmonizing the guitar part we already have would have been neat, but I don't know how you would have done that without having to double track or do a backing track live, because I think every instrument is already kind of filled up right here. So depending on what their goals are, whether they're more of a studio band and they don't mind, doubling up on stuff that they won't be able to do live, or more of a live band that prefers to do everything live with no backing track, that option might not be available to them. But I mean, just something. Maybe halftime it, maybe double time it. I mean, that might have been a bit wild, but just something to, or even bring the clean vocals up or down a little bit, just to provide a little change. I don't know. I enjoyed the chorus, but by the third time around, I was really waiting for something new, especially given that in a song that's less than 3 minutes long, the chorus takes up like 50% of it. It's the thing that I'm going to remember most from it, but not because I think it was particularly interesting in the larger scheme, but because it's what we heard the most. And again, I just did a lot of praise for the chorus. I don't want to say that the chorus was bad in any way, but the reason I'm going to remember it for so long is because I just had it, crammed into my ears for a majority of this track. And I think that if something's going to have that much time of your song, you should find ways to, do creative things with it, play around with it, see how you can tweak it or where you can take it. But as usual, that's just my opinions and biases. If you looked at the reaction, I was jamming along with it the whole time. I really enjoy this song on a casual level. So, take these criticisms with a grain of salt as they're coming from a more analytical perspective than purely casually enjoying this. Now, the lyrics are interesting because it seems to be about, I don't know, finding your own way and not letting others tear you down. There seems to be a lot of things in here about a specific person or a specific type of person that drags the vocalist down and them trying to find a way to get away from that. And there is, and possibly even trying to show them that they're wrong. There's also a couple of lines in here that show that there will be joy when people like this, or when this person specifically is passes away, or maybe not necessarily joy, but relief. Right? Still a positive element, but not necessarily joy. Because I think joy is a completely different element than relief. And yeah, there's definitely some sort of control or power that this other person has over the narrator that they're not happy with. And any way to get away from that is seen as a net positive, even if it means this other person has to pass away. There's also ideas of rotting away in your own prison, which might be a mental thing. And basically, there's this one line here. It says, I hope when you'll be dead, you'll stop talking so much, blah, blah, blathering things over other people's thoughts. I've tried to hear your stuff, frustrated hypocrite. Don't worry, I'll be fine even without your advice. So, yeah, definitely this element of like other people trying to control or impose wills or impose opinions onto the narrator. And like, yeah, like this lines up so well with the punk attitude that's going on in the chorus and the raw aggressiveness that we hear in the verse. And I mean, I think there's some translational things going on here because I don't think that these guys are speak English as a primary language. I don't see what. I kind of wish I knew what country they came from. It doesn't say though. But there are a couple of interesting lines that I don't think translated perfectly. But I mean, it really doesn't matter when the message comes across as strong as it does. So, like in isolation, just reading these lyrics, there's a couple of parts that are a bit rough, but in the song, I bet it sounds just fine. And like I said, the message comes across clear as day, and I can vibe with this idea, right? So this might be a song that ends up being something I listen to a couple of times or more. Because I enjoy the music, I enjoy the way it's shaking up the metalcore kind of vibe, and I can dig the lyrics, the themes that they're going for here. And there's just a really nice synergy between the musical choices and the lyrical ones. So yeah, congratulations, Waves and Autumn. This is phenomenal. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on you guys and seeing where you guys take it from here. To all the viewers, let me know in the comments what you thought of this one. If you enjoyed it or not, anything that stuck out to you, anything that you just want to add to the conversation, go ahead and let me know. Above the comment section is a description box. In there is a link for Linktree. It takes you to this menu with everything related to the channel. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. Also, I have links for Waves and Autumn's socials in the description if you want to check out anything else from there. Their Facebook, their Spotify. Maybe they have a Spotify. Yeah, the Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, just anything related to them. You can go ahead and check that out in the description box and make it easy for you to, if you're interested in checking out more of their stuff, to facilitate that. I won't be back on Monday. Sunday we'll do our live stream as usual for the patrons. Monday through Friday I'll be putting out videos, but they won't be the reactions. I'm going to be getting caught up on some stuff that's kind of hit the back burner, and I want to get caught up on things so that I don't feel like I'm drowning in secondary work. Stuff like getting block live streams available for everyone to watch, or trying to get the blocked videos available, or making a couple of like auxiliary videos. Like I want to get a channel trailer and a Patreon video out, much like the Discord one, where it kind of explains what's going on, what it is, how to utilize it, so that if anybody didn't know what it was, or if they're maybe overwhelmed by options, maybe they tried and they're like, well, I don't know what's going on here, it's too much, and just kind of back out. It's kind of like a little tutorial to explain what Patreon is and how it works. Like I said, much like the Discord video, which was a hit, we had like 50, maybe 100 people show up in the resulting weeks after that video. So, and then just a couple of other things, just kind of cleaning up some stuff on the back end. So it'll be a work week for me, just no reactions. But the next Saturday, which I think is the 9th, we'll do an album reaction, and then on the 10th, we'll have our live streams for the Patreon again. So it's just Monday through Friday that's going to be a regular. All right, until next time, not next week, until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.